Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Takedown, a Splitting Hairs podcast brought to you by Jackrabbit Illustrated, where we focus on South Dakota State wrestling. Once again, I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Jordon Shorenrock, and today we're going to recap the Oklahoma State and Oklahoma duels and look forward to this weekend's Border Bell matchup. We got our sponsors, as always, to thank. Drake's Place out of Bottle, South Dakota. If all things go right, Drake, I might be coming up to see you here in the next couple of weeks. And we also have Culver's up in Brookings and Watertown. So on your way up to North Dakota State to watch the Border Bell battle, feel free to stop in, get yourself some custard and a butter burger. Jordon, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
Well, I'd like to say I'm skinnier than I was the last time I talked, but I'm not sure that's so true.
You mean you're not cutting weight for the big duel this weekend?
I have cut some weight in the last week. Yes, I have. That's true. Not like as much as I need to cut though. I could not make heavyweight. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I was thinking you're going 125.
Man, I think my right thigh weighs 125. For sure my gut does. Jeez. Anyway. So start us off, Jordon. What do we got?
Oh, we will start here with last Friday. And boy, do I have mixed feelings about this duel.
A lot of things happened. A lot of things.
A lot of things. They were ranked 7th in the country. They're probably the hottest team in the country.
Yep.
And we battled right with them. I don't know. I said on Twitter or whatever that, yeah, we lost. And we had 1,531 fans in the stands. And them 1,500 plus that got to watch that, they just watched us go toe-to-toe with an all-time heavyweight favorite in Oklahoma State. But unfortunately, Oklahoma State came out with that 19-12 dual decision. But it was definitely worth the money of admission, I feel like, in the Frost Arena. And that one did not quite leave as a sour taste as the one we'll talk about later.
Well, it kind of set up the next one, right? Like, as much as we hate this, man, we're going to have to talk about it, right? I mean, I know we don't want to be a podcast where we beg on officials, and I don't want to be a guy that complains about the refs. I don't want to be that guy. I've been that guy. I haven't been that guy in my life. I don't want to be that guy anymore. But man, this one's hard to just bite your tongue. I really wish at least they would have switched who the head official was after how things went down Friday night. I think that should be something that could be requested from a coaching standpoint. And I don't know. Why don't you say what you need to about? Let's just talk about the whole weekend, and we'll get into it more with the matches. I know, but tell me what you think. I mean, I know you said to me, "Hey, the guy that's not the head official, he ain't wearing the wet whistle." I'm glad because I don't like him, but the guy that's wearing the whistle, I don't know. So we'll take it from there.
So there's a saying that I've always used in life, and it came to bite me in the butt pretty hard this weekend, that it's always careful of what you wish for. And I wasn't sure glad, but I was glad to see a new official in Frost Arena.
Yeah, it's always good.
That Oklahoma State, they're so historical and they're going to get every call they can. And
so it seems.
I was happy to see that new official in there for maybe introductions. I don't even know if I can say that long before I was like, okay, can we switch whistles here? No, I get it.
I do too.
Officiating's tough, but
it sure is. You're never right, no matter what.
I'll sit here and I still scratch my head, and I'll scratch my head to this day, or to the day I die, about this. And I'm sure that the NCAA has issued the apology to Damian and said it was the wrong call and everything like that. But how does Clay, 7 seconds into the second period, have a single leg, taking the kid back down to return him? Kid goes out of bounds, and we get called for stalling because we didn't return him quick enough. You have 10 seconds to return him. How does Tanner Cook, controlling the center of the mat and working his overhooks, underhooks, tie-ups, everything like that, did get dunged for stalling for not taking a shot when he's completely controlling? Yeah. Did Sheets hit the 2 great firemen's? Yes, he did.
Sure did.
But did he wrestle? Yes. But we were wrestling hand positions and controlling the center there. We should have never got called for that stalling call in my eyes. At that point in time, neither one of us should have been called. I mean, Sheets had his 2 shots, so he technically still had his working in his back pocket, and we were working in the center. Like, we weren't backing up. We weren't doing nothing. And
yeah, Damian said what after the match, like, I don't understand how you get stalling when your guy's controlling the center.
Yep.
Like, and that's, if you read the rules, it's in there, right? Like, so yeah, it was pretty frustrating. Probably we should talk about the key matches here. We'll circle back to officiating. I got a feeling. Clay Carlson, he gets the decision over Carter Young, and that was a good victory, and that was the 90th of his career. So he's now 90-37 overall. So that's pretty cool. It was a 4-3 decision. I thought Clay wrestled real well in this match. It was what I've come to look for from Clay Carlson, and a little bit of what I dare say was missing in some of the other matches and duels that I've watched from Clay. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but it was good to see Clay really taking it to him and being aggressive.
Clay did really step up there, and he did grit it out pretty good. And he had a very good match that night. And obviously Clay's in a tough spot right now, and he hasn't had the best season, but I'll say it just like everybody else says it, Damian and all them, and you ask them, March is what matters. And for Clay to put that match together, I think is only hopefully showing signs leading into March.
Yeah, and we know he's been dinged up a bit this year, so that always weighs on a guy's mind. Like, if you got a bad foot or ankle like that, you're always on it. And, if a guy shoots at it, is he going to rank on it? And here we go again. Things you keep in the back of your mind, unfortunately, that you can't really, get out of there very easily. So you talked a little bit. Why don't you finish talking a little bit about the 65?
So then another key matchup was at 65. And I'd said going into this duel, talking to some people that off air, that we had to win 41 and we had to win 65. So when we won 41, I'm like, okay, here we go. One more and this duel's ours. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, Wyatt Sheets comes out and defeats Tanner Cook 8-6. 2 great firemen's at the start of that match. And I just don't, well, I know he wasn't. He even said it. He just wasn't ready for the firemen's. And
right. If it's done right at the right time and as tight as Sheets was in there, man. He was really tight on the top and got right under it. It's really hard to defend that. It's a classic move, but the only thing you can do is jump out of the way. But he had that underhook just so tight. It was, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I agree 100%. Cook just wasn't ready. But something that I loved about Tanner, we're all used to seeing Tanner wrestle his 30-second matches, his minute matches. And something that I made a big point about at the beginning of the year was Tanner was wrestling 7-minute matches and winning. That's something we've never seen Tanner Cook do before.
Well, mostly because he hasn't had to, but
yep. And this match, yeah, he lost 8-6, but I felt like Tanner wrestled for 7 hard minutes. And that was huge. And I think it was Cam even touched on that on his radio show deal that he does every week. And he touched on that too. I think that he was pretty proud that Tanner actually wrestled hard for them 7 minutes. He didn't get in his head and he wrestled hard. And I think that that's going to be another matchup that come Big 12s. It's going to be another 7 minute match.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's winnable if we stop one fireman's. Like Tanner fought
I
hard off to get up.
I agree. I think Tanner would want to have that match back, not just because he lost, but because it was close, and I think there was a couple things he could have done outside of not giving up the firemen's, which, like I said earlier, was incredibly tough to do. I think he's got a couple more things in his bag of tricks, that he could use potentially to get those extra couple of points. So then at 174, we had a great match between a friend of the pod, Cade DeVos, who was ranked or is ranked number 13 right now, and Dustin Plott, who I believe was ranked 7th at the time, and he got the win 9-5. And boy, Cade really showed us what he's capable of. Cade, I know you don't listen to the podcast except for when you're on it, but man, you could do that every time. You could easily be a podium guy. Let's get after it. Don't wait. Score. Start your offense early, bud. Make it happen. What do you want to say?
Plott's an all returning All American from last year, and
Right.
Cade DeVos finally did it. And I know that I was excited. He was excited after the duels and during autograph signing. I mean, we exchanged a hug and some good words, and we were both pumped for each other or for him in that match. And he finally did it. He finally got that top 10 win that we'd kind of teased him about / asked him when he was going to get on the pod. Like, and that's what he said to me. He goes, when he walked up to me and he goes, it's finally it was my time to get that win. Like, it's finally happened. And I texted you, Chad, after I
Yep.
talked to him. I said I thought a flip switch, and I thought that we were going to see a whole new Cade DeVos, and I'd be making a Twitter account here in a couple weeks, but we'll touch on that later.
Yeah, the emotion was there. He did a good job, and it was an excellent win. But like you've said, like we were talking about earlier, March is what counts. And in March, if you beat the number 7 guy, 1 or 2 rounds in, that don't matter. So you got to get back and you got to get that under control and back to work. So much like that, we had our next duel on Sunday. And
Yes. So the Sooners came to town, and I'm gonna straight up say it. Upset us big, 13-18.
Yep.
And I there was 934 fans in there, and I think probably all 934 fans
Know where
went
we
home
sit.
kind of stunned. Like, after Friday night's duel, like, we
Yeah.
were looking great. We pulled an upset off at 2 of the first 4 weights. Like, we were looking great. Like, this was our duel. We were gonna just clobber Oklahoma, and then our heart of the lineup, I think's heart was still a little worn out from Friday night, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think it's a conditioning thing. We've talked a bit, and our guys just have to be in the right mindset at all times. And it's easy if you get a high end win to maybe take a beat, and you can't really do that in wrestling, as it turns out. Not something that we didn't know. So our first match, we had Tanner Jordon, who staved off a good fight. It was a really close match versus Joey Prada. Tanner was ranked a little bit below him, 25-4-19, and their rankings on WrestleStat. And unfortunately, Joey got the 4-2-1 and sudden victory won.
No,
Tanner Jordon wrestled a great match.
we
I think
upset
he
him.
had one of the best matches of that night, really.
Yeah. We won that, Chad.
Oh, did we? Oh,
Right?
I messed that up. How did I mess that up? I did. You're right.
Yeah, we won
My
that
bad.
match.
I was like, I thought we
We took
did.
25 and 49 were the two in
There we
my
go.
books that were upsets going into.
I I was like, I thought we won that, but I had it marked wrong on my page here. My bad. Sorry, everybody. I guess it's time for a new podcast host. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, Tanner Jordan, I thought had one of the best matches of the night, and indeed he did. And I mistakenly got the score wrong when I read it off my page here. So I'm a total hack. What can I say?
Yeah.
Why don't you take us to the next match so I can quit talking?
So the next match there was at the next highlighted match or big match that we had there was 141, which was number 7 in the country. OU was Schwartz was his last name, taking on Clay. Clay's 10th. Unfortunately, we just didn't put the match together that that Clay put together on Friday night, and Schwartz came out with that 8-2 victory. And I guess I kind of said the heart of the lineup. I'll say the older kids just didn't really show the heart and grit of returning to um on Sunday. I don't know if I'll say that. I mean, I know that it's fictional and everything, but they had um they had their big um the Big 12 is fictional for a dual championship, but we knew that if we won on Friday night and took care of business the next two duels, that we could technically call ourselves Big 8 or Big 12 champs and dual champs. And then when we lost Friday night, I kind of wonder if that didn't take a little bit out of these older kids. And we just did not bounce back well. And Clay was one of them matches.
Yeah, we got a comment here from Caleb Sanders' mom, Angela Griffin, talking about how she would have really liked him to both wrestle and play football. And thanks for watching, Angela. We love having you on both our podcasts, and thanks for tuning in. Up next, we had the let's see, we were on the 141 match. We had Jacob Butler, and Caleb Gross, I think gets as much accolades for what he did here as Tanner Jordan did for his win, because in a lot of ways this was a win. He was up two weight classes, and for most of the match did a really good job. He scored 2 points. I don't know what else you can ask for out of that guy. He was outweighed enough that he was outclassed in that regard, and wrestled the hell of a match, I'd say. You got any comments?
Yeah, just in case you didn't see, unfortunately, in the closing seconds of Friday night's duel, Kale Swenson did
Right.
something. I talked to Cody. Cody said that he kind of did something that was probably unneeded and kind of hurt himself a little bit in that match, and so he had to sit out on Sunday. So this team's getting deeper, but they didn't have the depth at 147 or 49.
Right.
So Caleb Gross did jump up from 141 to 157 on Sunday for us, and like you said, I mean, he kept it a decision, and that was huge
That was
in
huge.
my eyes. But
We were thinking it might end up a major potentially. It's hard as a smaller guy to not get tech faulted sometimes or flipped even.
yeah,
So yeah, I think he did a more than admirable job.
I know that we didn't put it on there, and I kind of honestly didn't even think about it until right now. But we probably also should give a little shout out to Alec Martin. He
Oh
did
yeah,
pull a
he had it
pretty big upset win out there at 149, one that on
right.
paper was supposed to be a major the other way, probably. And he pulled that win out there, and that was huge for us. That was our two upsets, was 125 and 49 in my eyes. And that set us up for a really good start of the duel. I mean, the young guys wrestled good, the older guys not so much on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, going into it, we won a couple of the ones we weren't on paper expected to win, and at that point, you think, "Hey, we're doing pretty good." And then we're we're at what 165, and that's your boy.
Yep. And then we hit 165, and Cook had another tough match. He took
Right.
on the 16th ranked kid from Oklahoma University, and he unfortunately dropped an 8-5. Once again, the kid hit a fireman's on him. And I
Yep.
think that's something that's going to change. I don't think that the coaches or even Cook really expected a lot of firemen's to come out, and I don't think they were ready for it. And I think that's something that they're probably back at the drawing board right now this week trying to figure out how they're going to defend them firemen's with Cook, because he does kind of give that setup pretty good. But yeah.
Yeah, that's his draw in, and nobody's really attempted it. And when I saw this Garrett Nienhuis, well, that's a Nijenhuis, Nienhuis. When I saw him hit that fireman's, my first thought was, man, they watched the duel from Friday, right? Like they literally said, you can hit a fireman's on this guy. It's the only safe way to get in on him. And unfortunately, that was a minor upset, and one we expected to go our way. Up next was a bigger upset, in my opinion. On paper, certainly a much larger upset. You had number 23 in the country, Tate Piccolo of Oklahoma, obviously, beating Cade DeVos 8-5. And, you said we'd circle back to this. I can't imagine that. I don't know what to say. I don't want to say anything negative. I know what I want to say is I know Cade's better than this. I know Cade knows he's better than this. And these kind of things hurt you when it comes to seeding. You just got to wrestle that much more and that much harder guys to get through your Big 12s and get through your national championship brackets. So these are the things we need to win going forward to set yourself up for easier success. I don't
There
know what else
was
to say.
neither mine or yours words, but there was a guy that yelled from the way top of Frost Arena in a very dark corner that we'll say we don't know who it was in a voice, get a gas tank at the end of the
Yeah,
match. And
yeah, and I didn't feel good about that, and I know who that is, but
and I don't know if it I kind of thought back on that a little bit, and I don't know maybe if Cade celebrated his win too hard Friday night and gave himself some pasta or something and had to cut a little harder come Saturday and Sunday or what. But yeah, he just was not Cade DeVos. And
no, he didn't seem particularly like he was trying near as hard as what we saw on Friday, right? I mean, Cade, we love
like,
you, but I think you know what we're saying, and go out there and give it a little bit more to start with, and maybe it'll be easier on the back end. That's going to be my suggestion, if you
yes,
will. Not that he's looking for what I got to say, but
I do think we win this match come Big 12s. I don't think we lay another goose egg there.
I sure hope not, because Cade's way better than that guy. Following that, we had Cade King in a brawl, basically, with Keegan Moore. It's a 10-6 decision in favor of Keegan Moore out of Oklahoma, and I don't know. The match is closer than what it might look with the score there, but Cade did a real good job wrestling. He come up short, and on paper he really should have beat this guy. So, any further thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a 2-point match, and Cade kind of took a
Right.
desperation shot at the end, and that made
Right.
it a 4-point match, like you said, wrestling closer than what the score shows. But I mean, this one, I don't know, like it was another one of our mate. I mean, and I kind of this just popped into my head, like a lot of these kids that we honored on Sunday for Senior Day we're kids that came to this program with these kids that were wrestling, and maybe our emotions just weren't in check. I didn't even think of that till right now, but like maybe that's why our older kids didn't wrestle the best. Like the emotions were there of that. I don't know. Like we haven't had a lot of seniors leave this program because we had nothing when Han started. So maybe we just didn't handle that well. I don't know, but this was another one that should never have happened in my eyes.
Well, and certainly that probably, is a small factor, but you got to think at this point, these guys are looking forward, not looking past their matches so much as looking forward to the actual end of the season, which is the big show. I would hope that the emotion wouldn't be too much, but I mean, it can get you. There's no doubt. Following that, we had Tanner Sloan, and he got a major decision, which was a big deal for us, over Carson Berryhill. He definitely tried his hardest to get a pin. I mean, not that guys don't always, but he was really going for it, and come up a little short. At times, I thought he was going to get that, but this kid really, 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 really got familiar with the mat on in this match. And if it wasn't clean before this match, it definitely was afterwards. I don't understand how this kid didn't get stalled out of the match and disqualified. It was literally that bad. And when we complain about the refs, that's the thing we're complaining about. Like, the kid
Both
literally did
197.
nothing the entire match. Was it how many minutes of ride time was it? Was 10 on the weekend and 7 something in this match, right?
Exactly 5 minutes in this match.
Oh,
It was
5
5
minutes.
minutes on
Okay.
the dot, and the other one was 5 minutes and like 45 seconds. Like both 197 pounders were scared to wrestle Sloan this week. He
Right.
wrote him out. I complimented Sloan after the duel about it, and he looked at me and said, "Well, I can hold him." Oh, I actually asked him if he had to
Yeah.
get his saddle
All right. I was
waxed
there
up
for
or
that.
something, whatever cowboys do to fix their saddles after a hard weekend of riding. But he kind of giggled it off and said, "Yeah, now I just need to learn how to turn somebody." And it's like,
I took
well,
it a little different than that. He said, the way I read it is, I just need to figure out how to turn them, not just I didn't catch the giggle, I guess. To me it was, yeah, I should have got him turned. That's what I need to be focusing on. I wasn't happy that that was the end result. That's just how I read the
yep.
situation, but
And
um
yeah, like they just had like I don't know. Both kids honestly could have been stalled out of the duel. Like
yeah.
I don't get it. And the kid that he wrestled on Friday night was just beat the number one kid in the
Yep.
country
Yep.
5 days earlier than that. And then I don't know, for some of you guys have probably seen it a little bit. That Oklahoma State kid goes on and pins somebody on Saturday or
Right.
Sunday, and the NCAA tweets them up like they're some big deal. And I think it was Jason Het. He commented or shared it, and I slid in and said, "Did this just show how good Tanner Sloan really is?" And I think the
Right.
NCAA just accidentally admitted something that they don't want to admit with the excuse me, with the 197 pounder at SDSU of Tanner Sloan. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that tweet by them was really strange. Can't get away from Tanner Sloan or what it was. And once he gets on your ankles or something, can't hide an ankle from Tanner Sloan. That's what it was. And I was like, well, but you sure can hide stalling when you're wrestling him, apparently. I mean, he was perpendicular to the guy the entire match, basically. When he was on top, well, basically half the match. So yeah, Tanner, he improved to 13-0 in duels and 19-1 for the season overall. He's doing really well. I think has he how many losses did he have in Frost? I can't imagine it was very many, if any.
This year,
Um he
he's only got one loss on the year this year.
One loss on the year, yeah, but I'm saying in his career at
Well,
Frost
he's still
so
got one
far.
more year,
No,
but
I
yeah,
know, but
I
I
don't think
understand.
I think he's undefeated at home. I don't think he's ever
That's
lost.
what I'm saying, which leads into the next guy. That was a lead in for you.
Yeah, and so then the next guy, once again, never lost at Frost. Uh, thank you for your time, sir, Mr. AJ Nevels. He got a 12, or he was ranked 12th. He got a decision over 14th ranked, 3-1, and that was another sudden victory dual win, and that was his second one on the weekend of overtime matches.
Yep. Yeah, I loved watching AJ since the day he came. He's been an excellent competitor and I think it's easy to say pretty much the best heavyweight we've got to see at SDSU, and his style is more like that of a smaller wrestler. Is that fair to say? You think he
Yes.
shoots a little more? There's more action.
Grambies.
Grammy, yeah, he loves he does love the Grammys. Yeah, he's really good at that. Blake Walters, favorite of mine, no doubt, but a way different style of wrestling overall. And yeah, so yeah, thanks AJ for all you gave to the program. It was good to talk to you afterwards, and thanks for your kind words, knowing that you know where we sit in the stands,
um,
as does everyone else apparently.
so before we go on to the next topic, there's some things um that this weekend's always gonna leave with me. And another one of them things is gonna be the asterisks of what if.
Right.
Because I don't know if anybody's seen yesterday, but Missouri upset Iowa State
Yes, they
in the
did.
duel. So that would have put SDSU, if we could have got out of last weekend unscathed, that would have gave us the fake
Title.
Big 12 title. I mean, they don't technically give you one out, but
No.
we would have took it. We could have said that we were two-time Big 12 titles because
Right.
the year that Bona was here, we went out.
Oh, and we printed shirts
Last
for it
year.
and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
Like,
I got one.
yep.
It's my working on cars shirt now, but yeah, I watched. Did you catch that match? The guy that I don't remember his name off the top of my head. The Iowa State guy got him for stalling in his first stalling at the beginning. Sudden victory. I about called it SV. Sorry. And the guy shot on him, and he got in pretty deep. And the kid from Missouri got a whizzer, and he started turning him over. And from kind of a down position, he backed over and ended up pinning the guy. Did you see that
No, I
on
missed
Twitter?
that.
Oh,
I didn't get to watch it, but
I'll have to send that to you. It's excellent, excellent. So good job to him. We love all wrestling, honestly, but I don't know that I like seeing Missouri win, but I'll take it, I guess. Yeah, the what if asterisks. We have what 4 duels that were what ifs in my mind. We could have won Nebraska. We could have won Minnesota. That was maybe the biggest what if, but in Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, we're this close. We're this close on all these duels.
so
And I'm going to follow that up with saying, let's not let the next duel be the next what if duel.
And like you look back at it, and I'll be 100% honest with you, out of everything that we've went through this year with watching this team, is I feel like the only duel we weren't in was the Oklahoma duel, which
Right.
they aren't good. Like, I'm sorry, they're a decent team, but like Cam and Brady said on the radio the other day, you can go wrestle 9 out of 10 duels against them. We're taking home 9 out of them 10. And it was bad. And Oklahoma State, I don't know if it was Cam, Brady, Damian, somebody, one of the coaches made the comment that the thing that beat us against Oklahoma State were churns. We got churned. We did not churn them. Yeah, we got churned for a 2 count. We got little things here and there. We don't get churned, and that's a whole different other outcome of that duel. And like to look back and say that we're only a churn away from Oklahoma State and winning duels against Oklahoma State, some churns. When I went down there with the team and we got killed the first time 5 years ago or whatever, and we went down there in Damien's first season, and it was embarrassing. Like that crowd had a heyday, and to now be with the same kids that were down there for that first butt kicking, to be the kids now that are churns away from beating them, just shows what this program really is and how close we are and how great we're going to be. Buy your season tickets next year. You're going to need them.
You're going to need them. That's right. Get them early. Get them often. Wait a minute. Buy more of them. That's what I'm saying. So, well, that sets us up, right? I mean, we got one duel left for the year. Why don't you take us into that?
Okay. So uh we're headed to Fargo.
Yeah.
Sunday, 2 p.m. in the volleyball center, the Benson Bunker Fieldhouse.
Yep. They moved it there on purpose, didn't they, Jordan?
I think so. They want a
They want
hostile environment.
they want a more hostile environment. So if you have the gumption and the desire, maybe it's a good idea to bring a little blue uh, up north, and maybe wear your national championship gear if you got some. Potentially you. It's your first chance to really, well, maybe not your first chance, but in basketball. So
We get to rub
you
it
could
in.
you could go rub a little of that national championship off on your way up there.
Yeah. So, I mean, once again, it's for the border bell. We all know what that means. We had some people ask last week and all that about what's more serious. I will to this day stand by my thoughts of wrestling. And I know some people are like, like hopefully we respond. And I mean, NDSU is a good team this year. As bad as it hurts me to
Yeah,
say that they are,
yeah,
they're
no,
ranked
they're real good.
15th in the country
Yeah,
right now.
they're
Like they're
ranked
good.
above us.
And we like there's no respect, and I hope that this just lights a fire under their butts even more. As last year, I mean, if you don't forget, NDSU on paper was coming in and they thought they had a shot to win. They won 1 out of the 10 matches. We took 9
Right.
out of the 10 matches and sent them home with their heads down. And they ain't gonna forget that either, though. We sent them out of Frost embarrassed last year.
Wasn't Fairneck the only win last year?
I believe so.
I believe so too. That would have been what, Zach?
Would have been um
Or
oh, you're putting me on that tough spot right now.
never mind. It don't
He was
matter.
our 57 pounder. He was our only
57 pounder.
senior last year.
Yeah, our only senior. Now
Um,
I'm struggling to remember too because I said Price.
yeah, no, wasn't
Nope.
Price, but
Nope. It'll come to us anyway. So what's the key matches on this one, Jordan?
so everything. I don't think there's
Right.
one that's not a key match. But starting out, 125 will have to be a big one. Where it's going to be Tanner Jordon versus Carlos. I don't know how to say the guy's last name right now, but
Do you want me to try?
you can try if you
Carlos
want to.
Negrete?
Sure,
Negrete.
sounds good to me.
Negrete.
uh,
Negrete. Negrete.
they're 1-1 all time against each other. Tanner got him earlier this year in an overtime match, so this should be a good one. It's going to be a close barn burner. We'll be able to see what kind of improvements Tanner has made on the season. I think Tanner's made some very good improvements. I think that we don't even really notice how good he's improved just because he's hung his head a couple times and got caught. And we forget that. So that will be a pretty big match at 125 there.
Yeah, it's a really big match, and I think Tanner, yeah, Jordan can pull this off. So after that, we got 133. That's Derek Cardinal. Oh, hey, I just thought of it. Kenny O'Neill, right?
Kenny O'Neill, yep.
Kenny O'Neill. Yeah. And yeah, so Kenny O'Neill was our 57 pounder last year. Derek Cardinal is ranked 111th on the WrestleStat, and he's going up against McGuire Midkiff, ranked 60. We definitely, at a minimum, need to keep this a decision. I'm not sure that the rankings matter when you get this far down, right? I think there's no reason to believe that Derek couldn't pull this off. So,
I think
following that, we have Clay Carlson versus Dylan Drogemuller, excuse me. And Clay's won 8 consecutive matches against this guy, and all have been only by decision. So maybe we get a chance to see what Clay can really do. You know, it's about time for him to really start kicking in the afterburners. I'd like to really see a major here, and I think he could do it. But he has to go out there and wrestle like he wrestled Friday night last week.
Yes, I think will be a big duel for Clay, or a big match for Clay. Both these guys have had the same kind of seasons. They've upset a lot of kids or won some big matches and got upset a lot. And it's gonna have to be just Clay coming out and being Clay Carlson against the kid, like he has the last 8 times, and wrestling tough. At 149, we'll have Alec Martins. He'll be taking on Kellen March. March is a South Dakota boy.
Yeah.
Wrestle Stats got March winning this one by a decision. Alex been wrestling good.
Yep.
Huge. I think if there's going to be an upset from us, this is the match that it's going to happen at.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit during our duels, much like our kid that you'll talk about next with Kale. Alex seen a lot of improvement on the air. I mean, dramatic improvement in my opinion. And I think that might, like you said, show.
Yeah. And then at 157, we're all hoping that Kale Swenson's back. He'll be taking on Jared Frank. Jared's number 2 in the country, and WrestleStats got this as a decision. Clearly, we're going to be not favored in this match. This is definitely NDSU stud. And
he's got to be a super senior at this point, right? And
I
that
think
kid's been
so.
wrestling there forever.
Yep. And we got to just keep this a decision. If we can keep it a decision, we'll be perfectly fine after that match, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And then we're moving on to your guy again.
Then we got 165. Tanner Cook will be taking on Michael Caliendo. Caliendo won this 5-3. Sorry, Chad's got little notes on here and says the homeless cows. So you always got to laugh when you see them fun notes. Unfortunately, I think Tanner Cook goes into Big 12s on a 3-match losing streak.
Really?
And that's just because I'll be honest with you right now. I don't think Tanner's wrestling his best. And I wouldn't even be surprised. I'm sure we'll weigh in Connor Gaynor too. And I wouldn't be surprised if the duel's out of reach or whatever. Some things ain't going right to even put Connor Gaynor out there. I mean, like I've talked to Cook all year, the main focus is March and AAing. And he's old. He's getting beat up. Like he don't have too many seasons left in him, and it's just trying to keep him healthy for the end of the year. And let's just hope that it goes out there and goes good.
You know, right. But if he can get a win here, say he gets a sudden victory win, whatever, you know, this guy's ranked above him. That's good going. It's good momentum going in. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see some momentum for Tanner. I think he could use some solid momentum going in. It's better to get off the schneid going in to the big deal than be on it.
Oh,
after that, we got Cade DeVos. You know, he's up a couple slots after his big win, but I think he has this one pretty well in the bag. This isn't where they're strong, but that doesn't really mean anything. Cade needs to wrestle his best, and maybe this is where you go out and pick a guy apart. You know, the guy's only ranked in the top on, well, he's 68th, I guess, and they have this as a 6-4 match, and I really like us to work our tail off and get a bunch of takedowns and come back with a tech fall or at least a major. You know, do we get to see the tongue? That would be great. I'd love it. You know, potentially it could happen. You know, I mean, Cade's ranked quite a bit above this guy. You know, Yeah, and at this point in the duel, I think the Harry cows still have a slight advantage, but depending on what he does, you know, it could really swing the match or the overall duel score. So
Yeah, and I mean, that kid's gonna wrestle. He does have some bigger wins this year. He is an honorable mention on Flo's rankings. But still, K DeVos needs to respond after Sunday, and K DeVos needs to respond in the most K DeVos way and prove that Friday night was not an upset or upset or surprise to anybody.
yeah, I mean he just needs to get through that he's one of the best guys in the country. Get it in his head because he is. At any given time, he could beat anybody. There's no reason he can't. He's that good. Coach says
Oh
it over and over again. And sorry I had to interrupt, but yeah,
no, he's good. I mean, that's kind of that yeah, I don't where we stand at right now with everything is like these kids are good. And I don't mean you've talked about it. Like these kids are good. Now we just need them to buy in and have the true mindset that they're the best. And Chris, is it Kraft? Is that how I say that right?
Chris
Yeah.
Crocked, cracked.
He'd be great for the team right now, and hopefully, we can get some meetings with him and get these kids really believing there before the Big 12, as I know that he does meet with some kids sometimes. At 184 though, it'll be K DeVos taking on
Kid King. It's okay.
or sorry,
I make
K
mistakes too. I make mistakes too.
and taking on DeAnthony Parker. WrestleStat has this being a 6-4 match. They're
I
1-1
thought
all
it was Dean Thoney. I'm just kidding.
WrestleStats got this. They're 1-1 all time, but I think King takes this match easy. I think we got to be the favorite here and roll on with that. And then, yeah,
like
I mean,
I kind of said to you, I think this, if all other matches are chalk, this becomes a real big match. It's the one that matters the most if all other things go chalk. So, yeah, continue on. Sorry.
and also, I mean, I know we didn't do it last weekend, and I brought it up, but we can't forget we got Bennett Berge back there, sending the back wings that we could see make a weigh in because I know he's still got one weigh in, and this
Don't
would
we
be
have
the last time we could
go
use
to in that 184-pound range? Roman
what.
Rotsky.
Roman's pretty good. Yeah, I think
Yeah, he's up there in
Roman.
that same weight, though, right?
Uh, no, Roman's might be a six. No, I don't know what Roman is
I'll
right
have to
now.
look. Go ahead. Talk
Yeah.
about the next match.
So at 197, we'll have Tanner Sloan versus Owen Pence. This is a 6-0 match or 8-6 match in Sloan's favor, according to WrestleStat. Sloan is 3-0 against this guy. He's good, but Sloan's kind of just had his number the last couple of years.
I did look it up. Roman I can never say his name right. Rogotsky, I think. He's listed at 84 on the roster too. So I know that means he could move up, down, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tanner, man, he's definitely had his number. Could really use a major decision, huh? That would be big in the overall duel.
And I don't know if anybody's wrestling better than Tanner Sloan right now. I feel like he's bought into himself and he's good.
And by that, you mean anyone on our team?
Anybody in the nation, to be honest with you.
Well, okay.
I think the way Tanner Sloan's wrestling right now is
he's a man on a mission. You can see it in his eyes when he's out there on the mat. There's no doubt.
You're gonna see some upsets, I think, come Big 12s and national tournament, hopefully, out of that kid.
I sure hope so, because I've been waiting for it for a while. And, the year that I thought it was going to happen was the year that he ended up with that hurt shoulder. And, he just couldn't really wrestle the way he really wanted to. And he's done nothing but get better since. So we'll round out the duel at heavyweight, or 285 if you prefer. AJ Neville's is our stud. He's ranked 12th in the country. right now for that, and he's going up against a 49th guy, Juan Mora. Russell Stat has this as a 12-3 major decision match. I'd absolutely go off the charts if we could get a pin here. That would be excellent. If WrestleStat has 12-3, they're thinking it's going to be a pretty big point scoring match. I think there's the possibility, even if we can't get him flipped over, that if AJ has enough gas in the tank to be able to just pick this guy up, take him down, and we could possibly get a tech, even if we don't think we can, flip the guy. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same thing too. I mean, unfortunately, NDSU's heavyweights always wrestle good against us. I am so glad to see the old guy, Mets. I'm so glad to see that guy gone finally. It seemed like he'd been there since I was in middle school.
Yeah,
But,
kind of.
But so, I mean, I don't really know much about this heavyweight. I do know it was a pretty close match earlier this year. At the beginning of the year, I think they wrestled maybe, and maybe not. Did they wrestle in the DAC?
I didn't see on WrestleStat that they had wrestled.
Maybe they didn't wrestle in the
before,
DAC. And
so.
for some reason, I was thinking they did.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have went to Fargo and wrestled Fargo,
No.
And I don't think he wrestled the DAC either, so I don't think they would have faced off anywhere.
Yeah, so I think that, I mean, I haven't even really seen their heavyweight wrestle, but I think that if AJ wrestles his stuff, I mean, heavyweights are usually always close matches, unfortunately,
Right.
but I think that will be very good in the in that category. We're definitely the favorite to win it heavyweight.
Yeah, I think it's crazy to see any kind of predicted score with 12 points on it in a heavyweight match. In college, so
sure.
Unless it's one of the very, very top guys against someone else, I don't think AJ gives up that many points to one of the top guys. So I guess time will tell, but it's funny that you mentioned how old Metz was, because I went to enter this info on her document to look at and to follow our little outline here, but I almost typed Metz in without even looking. No lie. I was like, oh yeah, Metz, great. Oh, no, wait, that guy, maybe he graduated. So what else do you want to talk about, Jordan? We're about done here.
So, I mean, 10 matches, and 6 of them are 2 ranked opponents going head to head on Sunday here, off of according to Flow. And once again, I mean, thankfully, there's 2 matches that they're ranked higher than us in is all. So, I don't know. I had an NDSU fan write on my Twitter page the other day saying that they just don't match up well against us. And I'll be honest, I have to agree with them. They don't, but we also have to wrestle too.
Yeah. And it's like you said, the football rivalry is a rivalry, and it's, a little bit friendly. It's not just pure hate. These guys genuinely don't like each other. And I assure you, NDSU remembers the score from last year, and they do not want that to happen at home. And I would venture to say they will not let that happen again. So our guys got to be ready, because they're going to be out for blood. That's
100%.
That's how I see it.
It's not going to be and I mean, I've never not seen Damien have us not ready for this match. So I think that will be good. We got to wrestle like we did on Friday against Oklahoma State University. And I think that the bell will continue to sit next to the Rock and the national championship trophy.
I think we're gonna hold all the trophies that count in my book, and even ones that I don't care about this year in our sports. And everybody that's an SDSU fan has to love when we get another strong win against the foes from the north.
And for anybody that don't know, both these trophies sit underneath the same building now too. Different names, but they're all connected.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all one building now that we have it in the new wrestling practice center right there next to the S
Which
track.
I got to ask you, Chad, what are your thoughts? I walked you through on Sunday.
Yeah, it's awful impressive. Every little detail was very impressive. I can't wait to see what we can come up with for our video. We went over there with Jordan and his buddy was
Ryan.
what? Yeah, you cut out.
His name's Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, that's right, Ryan. And walked around, and it's super impressive. I I know I was really jazzed by the pictures, but pictures don't do it justice. It's cooler than I would have thought, and it's quite the facility, and they've got a lot of nice little touches. The thing that I can't get over, the thing that impressed me probably not the it caught my eye the most. That's what I should say, is that table in the lounge area with the blue glass or whatever it is in there, that formed table. That's super cool. Like super, super cool. That it did not impress me the most, maybe, but it was the thing that like I caught me off guard. I didn't expect something like that to be that cool. Like I walked into the room, didn't notice it at first. And that's the room that's sponsored by Todd Workentine and his wife. And we were in there talking to Cody, and I was talking to him across the table, and I looked down, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So the observation deck's cool. I imagine wrestling might use that during, I don't know who's going to control that during football games, but that would be a cool place to get in and watch a football game once if a guy wanted to, and knew the coach as well.
Yeah, I've been told it's going to be used for recruiting, so I'm
I
guessing the
figured it
wrestlers
probably
get to.
was. Yeah.
Yep.
What was your favorite highlight? The locker rooms, there's athletes in there, so we didn't get to go in there. I'm thinking I'd probably be most impressed by that, but
So after you had to leave, you had to get home for the Super Bowl and
yeah.
everything a little bit. We stayed around for a little bit, and we did end up going to the locker room at the end. And actually, Tanner Jordan was in there and hollered at us to come in and talk to him. So we
Oh,
went
cool.
in there and had a little conversation with him. And the locker room, honestly, I mean, when it gets done, it'll probably be cool. But right now, like I said in the past, it's just folding chairs.
Yeah, we know it's not finished yet,
Yep.
right?
So that was pretty decent. But I would say that the team lounge also has probably got to be my favorite spot. I'm really, really impressed. I don't know. I guess when I went in there and I took my first tour in there, I took pictures, and two of them went to my background immediately. There's one that's on my home screen now. It's a sign that hangs in there. It says, "This family is full of love and based on trust. We are grateful and also generous. We help one another and respect each other. But most of all, we cheer together. We are a Jackrabbit family." And that sign, to me, really just showed what SDSU wrestling is really about. They are, I mean, for me being on the inside, I know how close they all are and how much everything means to each other. And that sign really meant something to me. I mean, it became my lock screen actually. And the other thing that I thought was pretty cool was the custom SDSU foosball table. I
Oh
thought
yeah.
that was pretty designed pretty well. And then you got your big TVs and I don't
The
know.
ping pong
I
table's cool too, right?
Yep. They I had my or I watched the Super Bowl, Jordan and them on Sunday night, and I mean we just kind of talked about it the whole time. And I think the video that's gonna be knocked out from this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be one of it's I think it's gonna blow our followers and listeners away. I think Jordan and them have great ideas. I think we got a lot of content to do with it. Um, it's going to be a very interesting and fun time. And I know that we're all going to be very excited to share it with you guys. when the time
Right.
comes.
One other thing that impressed me that slipped my mind till now. It did impress me 100%. But, I was so the table for whatever reason just like drew my attention. Maybe it's the ADD kid in me. But the weight room, the fact that they have their own weight room, that is super cool and it is super nice. And it is, I know which word I want to use. I'm not allowed to use that on this, but it's super cool. And I don't have any other way to explain it. That's
You don't
awesome. That's the word I'm going to use. Awesome.
you don't want somebody to yell at you next year when we're down at the local shack and yell at you for swearing on the podcast or what?
Oh, it wasn't going to be a swear word. It just
Uh,
wasn't necessarily appropriate.
ah,
So I'll keep that for later. Final thoughts, Jordan?
I don't really have any. I mean, it's
Hey,
March almost.
shout out to Angela Griffin for coming on and showing us some support. Dustin Helton too, man. We love you. You're a good contributor year round to the Jackrabbit Illustrated stuff. And everybody listening on FCS Fans Nation, thanks for sticking with us. Hopefully you found it interesting and you come back for some more. And on that, what do you say?
I think we get jacked on 3.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Get
Get
jacked.
jacked.